Chosen one, stop scrolling. This is not a coincidence. This is not luck. This is a God's message delivered by divine alignment, landing in your life at this exact moment because your soul has been screaming for proof, for clarity, for a sign that you are still seen, still guided, still held by something far greater than the storms you've endured. Can you feel it? That stirring in your chest, that sudden warmth rising in your spirit as you read these words. That is your confirmation. That is heaven whispering, I am here. If you feel it, type 777 now and let the universe know your heart is awake and ready. From the very first spark of your spiritual awakening, unseen forces have been moving in your favor, closing doors that never belonged to you, shifting relationships, and removing energies that could not rise with you. At first it felt like heartbreak. It felt like loss, confusion, abandonment. But what you saw as endings were actually sacred interventions. Every separation was a shield. Every loss was protection. Every closed door was heaven's hand clearing your path, keeping you aligned with your highest calling, and making space for the destiny you were never meant to carry on your own. This message comes to you now because heaven needs you to understand that everything you lost was never a punishment. It was preparation. What was taken from you was taken to protect you. What fell apart was allowed to fall because it could not carry the weight of your divine calling. The relationships that fractured, the opportunities that crumbled, the seasons that ended, they were not failures, they were spiritual releases, they were sacred removals. They were divine subtractions that made room for the restoration you prayed for, the breakthrough you have been moving toward, and the new beginnings that your soul has been quietly anticipating in the shadows of your transformation. You, chosen one, have been walking with an unseen crown. You have been undergoing a spiritual cleansing so that your hands, your heart, and your soul could be ready for the next chapter heaven is about to deliver. The silence you faced was not God ignoring you. It was God preparing the path before you. The delays were not denials, they were divine recalibrations. The emptiness you felt was not absence, it was space being carved out for your restoration. Heaven is sending this message to awaken the truth inside you. You are entering a season where clarity will replace confusion, purpose will replace wandering, and divine timing will replace uncertainty. What you thought was loss was actually alignment. What you thought was rejection was divine redirection. What you thought was the end was the sacred beginning of something far greater than you imagined. Chosen one, your breakthrough is not coming someday. It is unfolding now. You are on the threshold of transformation, stepping into a realm where what you prayed for begins to manifest, where what you cried for begins to be restored, and where what you lost returns in a higher, holier form. Divine alignment has brought you this message because heaven is about to shift your life in ways that confirm every prophecy spoken over your destiny. You are not standing in the ruins of your past, you are standing at the gateway of your restoration. Let this message settle into your spirit and remind you that nothing was wasted, nothing was stolen, and nothing was lost without divine purpose guiding every step. When life feels like loss, God is actually making space. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when life begins to shift in ways that feel almost violent, abrupt, and deeply confusing. The people you thought would stay forever suddenly pull away. Opportunities you believed were stable collapse without warning. Plans you spent months shaping crumble in your hands like dust. And in those moments, you wonder why the path that once felt so clear now feels like a maze of endings. But what you are living through is not destruction. It is divine rearrangement. It is the subtle yet powerful way God clears the path for your divine calling to rise without interference, without distortion, and without the weight of what no longer aligns with the destiny written over your life. Loss is one of the first signals of a spiritual awakening, not because God wants to hurt you, but because your next chapter requires space that your old life could never make room for. When you are chosen, you cannot carry everyone and everything into the next dimension of your purpose. The relationships that were based on comfort instead of calling begin to dissolve. The environments that once felt familiar start to feel tight, restrictive, or draining. Your spirit becomes sensitive to things you used to tolerate, because the divine is shifting your internal compass toward a future that demands your full presence, clarity, and strength. Think back to a moment when something ended suddenly. Maybe a friendship that grew distant without explanation, a relationship that broke apart despite your efforts, a door that closed even though you were prepared to walk through it. At the time, it felt like heartbreak. But now, with the eyes of a chosen one, can you see how that loss redirected your steps? Can you see how it pushed you away from what would have dimmed your light and toward what would awaken your spirit? Heaven does not take anything without placing something greater on the other side of obedience. Every ending you survived was a tool shaping you for your divine calling. The divine often removes what you cling to, because you cannot hear destiny clearly when you are surrounded by noise. There are seasons when God will quiet your life to amplify your purpose. Certain people leave not because you are unworthy, but because they were sent only for a chapter, not the full story. Certain doors close because they would have kept you small. Certain betrayals happen because loyalty to the wrong people would have locked you out of your breakthrough. Spiritual awakening forces you to confront the truth that loss is not the absence of love. Sometimes it is the evidence of divine protection. Imagine carrying a bag so full of old memories, disappointments, and attachments that there is no room left for the blessings heaven is trying to hand you. That is what many chosen ones do without realizing it. You hold on out of loyalty, habit, fear, or hope, even when something inside you knows it is time to let go. When God sees that your heart cannot release what is hindering your growth, He steps in and removes it Himself. It may feel harsh, but it is sacred. The divine is not taking from you. He is clearing you. He is preparing your spirit to receive what cannot enter a cluttered life. And so the breakups that shattered you were actually breakthroughs disguised as endings. The friendships that fell apart opened space for connections aligned with your spiritual evolution. The jobs, plans, and opportunities that slipped away made room for paths that match your restored identity. You were not abandoned. You were rerouted. You were not rejected. You were redirected. You were not forgotten. You were being positioned. Every spiritual shift requires a shedding. Caterpillars do not carry the cocoon into their flight, and you, chosen one, cannot carry your old world into your ascension. Your divine calling is too powerful, too precise, too sacred to be built on foundations that were never meant to last. When heaven begins to prepare you for destiny, the first sign is always removal, not because you need less, but because you were created for more. So when life feels like loss, pause and look deeper. Something is being carved out for you. Something is being rearranged for your alignment. Something greater is preparing to enter your life, and the empty spaces you feel right now are the sacred ground where divine blessings will soon be planted. You are not losing. You are evolving. You are not empty. You are being made ready. You are not breaking. You are being positioned for the miracle that requires room to unfold. The divine cleaning phase. What had to be removed? There is a sacred and often misunderstood phase in every chosen one's journey, a phase that feels like stripping, like unraveling, like everything familiar is being pulled from your hands. This is the divine cleaning phase, the season when God begins removing what cannot walk with you into the next chapter of your destiny. It is not a punishment, though it may feel harsh. It is not abandonment, though it may feel lonely. It is divine protection, divine pruning, and divine preparation unfolding with perfect precision. You are being purified for the path you were born to walk, and anything that stands in the way, people, environments, habits, or old versions of yourself, must be cleared out so that your spirit can rise without resistance. During this phase, you may notice that certain relationships begin to crumble without explanation. People who once felt essential suddenly feel distant, disconnected, or misaligned with your spirit. You try to hold on, but the connection continues to loosen no matter how much effort you pour into preserving it. This is not rejection. It is spiritual pruning. Not everyone is meant to witness your ascension, and not everyone has the capacity to carry the weight of your calling. Some were only assigned to earlier chapters of your story, and keeping them past their divine expiration date creates spiritual blockages. When God removes someone, it is because their presence in your next season would either slow you down or harm you in ways you cannot yet see. Environments also shift during the divine cleaning phase. You may feel suddenly uncomfortable in places you once considered home. Workspaces that used to feel stable start to drain your energy. Social circles that once felt comforting begin to feel restrictive, heavy, or spiritually suffocating. This is because your spirit is outgrowing environments that no longer match your frequency. When heaven elevates you, your surroundings must elevate with you. If they do not, they will fall away. God removes environments that keep you small, because your next season requires room, expansion, and alignment with higher vibrations. You cannot step into your future while standing in spaces created for your past. Habits too become exposed during this phase. The routines that once gave you comfort suddenly feel inadequate for the person you are becoming. Old coping mechanisms no longer soothe your soul. Behaviors you once excused begin to feel out of alignment with your spiritual growth. It is as if light is being shined on every corner of your life, revealing what is holding you back from rising fully into the chosen one you truly are. This is inner refinement. God is not simply changing what is around you. He is reshaping what is within you. The divine is calling you into spiritual maturity, emotional clarity, and soul-level discipline. Your habits must reflect your calling, and anything that distracts, diminishes, or derails your focus has to be released. But perhaps the most profound part of the divine cleaning phase is the shedding of old identities. This is the moment when the version of you that survived, fought, and endured begins to dissolve, so the version of you that thrives, expands, and ascends can emerge. You may feel like you do not fully recognize yourself anymore. Old desires fade. Old dreams shift. Old ways of thinking no longer hold power. This is soul detox. The divine is removing the layers of pain, doubt, insecurity, and fear that accumulated through years of spiritual battles. You are being stripped of what is false so that what is true can rise. And though this stripping feels painful, it is holy. God removes the identities that were built from trauma, expectation, or survival, because they cannot support the weight of your breakthrough. You are stepping into your divine calling, and that requires a purified heart, a clear mind, and a spirit free from the residue of past chapters. The removal is not a loss, it is liberation. When relationships fall away, it is protection. When environments shift, it is alignment. When habits dissolve, it is refinement. When identities fade, it is rebirth. Every removal is a divine act of preparation for the life you are meant to walk into. The divine cleaning phase is not where you are punished, it is where you are prepared. It is where God clears the path so that nothing and no one can obstruct your next season. It is where heaven detoxes your soul so you can receive blessings that require spiritual purity, emotional strength, and unwavering clarity. You are not being emptied to be left hollow. You are being emptied so you can be filled with something greater than anything you lost. This is divine surgery, divine cleansing, divine restructuring, and when the dust settles, you will see that everything removed was making room for everything you were destined to receive. The second pause, when God goes quiet, there comes a sacred, unsettling moment in the journey of every chosen one where the noise of life fades, the familiar signs disappear, and God Himself seems to fall silent. Prayers feel like they fall flat. Dreams feel delayed. The spiritual confirmations that once poured into your life suddenly dry up, leaving you staring at the ceiling at night, wondering if heaven has stepped back. This quiet season can feel like the most confusing, the most painful, and the most emotionally stretching chapter of your awakening. But what you may not realize yet is that the silence is not abandonment. It is preparation. It is a divine pause designed with precision to strengthen you for what is coming next. When God goes quiet, it is not because He has left you. It is because He is shifting you. Silence is the hallmark of transition, the space between who you used to be and who you are being shaped to become. It is the cocoon phase of the soul, the holy stillness where the divine prepares you for transformation that cannot happen while you are surrounded by noise, distraction, or constant reassurance. In earlier seasons, God spoke to you loudly because you needed direction. But now, in this season, He is teaching you how to stand, how to trust, and how to walk by faith instead of constant signs. The sacred pause is heaven's way of maturing you. When everything is loud and obvious, you can depend on external signals. But when everything becomes quiet, you are pushed into deeper awareness, deeper grounding, and deeper trust. The silence refines your discernment and strengthens your spiritual muscles. It calls you inward instead of outward, upward instead of sideways. God is not punishing you with silence. He is preparing you for a level of purpose where you must trust His presence even when you cannot trace His hand. Think of the times you begged for an answer and nothing came. Think of the nights you cried because God felt distant, wondering why He would guide you so clearly before, but leave you with questions now. Yet, look closer. Even in the silence, something was shifting inside you. You were growing. You were releasing. You were changing. You were slowly shedding the fears and doubts that once controlled you. You were learning to listen to the still, small voice within instead of the noise around you. You were being equipped to hear God in subtler, more intimate ways. In the sacred pause, God is rearranging things behind the scenes. He is aligning opportunities, recalibrating your path, and preparing the right people, the right doors, and the right timing. Silence often comes right before breakthrough because heaven is working in the unseen. Just like a seed buried in the soil experiences the quietest darkness right before it breaks open, you too are in your hidden growing phase. What feels like distance is actually alignment. What feels like pause is preparation. What feels like emptiness is the spiritual womb where your next season is forming. Many chosen ones misunderstand the silence because they assume God speaks only through noise, signs, and miracles. But silence is also a language. Silence is direction. Silence is elevation. Silence is the divine trusting you to use what He already placed inside you. God knows when you no longer need confirmation. He knows when you're ready to walk in faith. And so, He quiets the outside world so you can finally hear your inner guidance, your intuition, your spirit, and His whisper buried beneath the chaos of your thoughts. The sacred pause marks the shift from spiritual dependency to spiritual maturity. It is where you stop asking for proof and begin walking with purpose. It is where you stop needing constant reassurance and begin trusting the divine foundation within you. It is where your identity as a chosen one crystallizes, not in the noise of blessing, but in the silence of becoming. You are not alone in this quiet. You are not forgotten. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. God goes quiet, not because you are far from Him, but because you are closer than you have ever been. Silence means you are stepping into a season where your spirit leads and your faith strengthens. Silence means the divine is elevating you past the need for constant reminders. Silence means heaven is preparing something so precise, so important, so aligned, that it must be constructed without distraction. So breathe into this stillness. Do not fear it. Embrace it. For when God goes quiet, it is the surest sign that your next chapter is already unfolding. The silence is not a void. It is a doorway. And on the other side of this sacred pause is a breakthrough that will make every moment of confusion worth it. The shift you didn't see coming. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey when everything seems to fall apart at the exact same time. The pressure intensifies. The emotions swell. The circumstances around you begin to collapse in ways that make no logical sense. You look at your life and wonder why everything you built seems to be shaking. You question why doors that were once open suddenly slam shut. You feel the weight of uncertainty pressing against your chest, and you ask yourself if you somehow stepped out of alignment without realizing it. But what you don't yet see is that this breakdown is not the end. It is the evidence that a breakthrough is already unfolding beneath the surface. This is the shift you didn't see coming, the divine turning point disguised as chaos. Breakthrough rarely announces itself with trumpets or clarity. It often arrives quietly, hidden inside moments of confusion, separation, or unexpected change. God moves in ways that your natural eyes cannot always understand. When the divine begins shifting your life, it happens spiritually before you see it physically. And because the physical realm lags behind the spiritual, what you experience at first feels like loss, collapse, or crisis. But in the unseen realm, foundations are being rebuilt, paths are being carved, miracles are being rearranged on your behalf. What looks like a breakdown is actually heaven tearing down old structures that cannot support the destiny you are stepping into. Divine timing is rarely comfortable. It stretches you, it pushes you, it forces you into the unknown so you can grow into the version of yourself that is able to carry your next season. Many chosen ones think they are being punished when life becomes overwhelming, but the truth is far deeper. The weight you feel is the weight of spiritual upgrade. You are being expanded. You are being recalibrated. You are being shifted into a higher dimension of purpose. And expansion never feels gentle, especially when God is shifting you rapidly. Think back to a time when everything seemed to collapse without warning. You felt like you were losing your grip. You felt unprepared. You felt like the ground beneath you was dissolving. But now, with hindsight, can you see how that moment changed you? Can you see how it pushed you into growth you would have never chosen on your own? Can you see how it prepared you for opportunities, relationships, or blessings that required a stronger, wiser, more spiritually anchored version of you? Breakdowns are not the end. They are spiritual contractions that precede breakthrough. When God is orchestrating a major shift, He often allows chaos to rise to the surface so He can clear away what is unstable, unaligned, or insufficient for your next level. This chaos is not meant to destroy you, it's meant to expose what can't go with you. It reveals weak foundations, it exposes unhealthy patterns, it uproots expired relationships. It forces you to release attachments that were quietly weighing you down, and though it feels disorienting, this dismantling is divine precision at work. Heaven cannot build the new on top of what was never meant to last. In the unseen realm, angels are moving, paths are opening, and spiritual doors are unlocking even when you feel stuck. You may not see movement, but you can feel it. You feel the inner restlessness, the tug in your spirit, the sense that something is shifting even if you cannot name it. You feel the discomfort of expansion, the emotional weight of transition, the pressure of being pushed out of your comfort zone. This is divine evidence. This is spiritual confirmation that you are crossing into a higher timeline. But with every shift comes fear. Fear of the unfamiliar. Fear of losing control, fear of stepping into a chapter you have never lived before. Fear is not a sign that you are wrong, it is a sign that you are breaking through old limitations. When heaven elevates you, your spirit rises first and your mind tries to catch up. That gap between spiritual evolution and mental understanding is where fear begins to whisper. But fear is simply the shadow cast by the doorway of your destiny. It cannot stop you unless you allow it to. Uncertainty also becomes louder during this shift. You wonder if you can handle the changes. You question whether you are ready. You feel the emotional weight of leaving behind what was once familiar. But uncertainty is not your enemy. It is the invitation to trust divine timing. You are not being uprooted for no reason. You are being positioned with purpose. You are being aligned for blessings that require this exact moment of transition. The shift you didn't see coming is not the destruction of your life. It is the rearranging of it. The divine is moving pieces you didn't even know needed to move. The breakdown is clearing space. The uncertainty is sharpening your discernment. The fear is pushing you into courage. The pressure is preparing you for elevation, and when the dust settles, you will realize that nothing was falling apart. It was falling into divine place. Restoration is already in motion. There comes a moment in the chosen one's journey when the heaviness begins to lift, even if just slightly, and something inside whispers that change is approaching. Not loud, not dramatic, but steady, like the soft breaking of dawn after the longest night. This is the moment when restoration begins. Not when everything looks perfect, not when every question has an answer, but when your spirit becomes aware that something sacred is moving beneath the surface of your life. Heaven wants you to know that restoration is not coming someday in the future. It is already in motion right now, weaving its way through the unseen layers of your reality. Everything you lost, everything that was taken, everything that slipped from your hands during the hardest seasons, none of it vanished without purpose. In the divine order, loss is never the ending place. It is the doorway through which restoration begins to flow. What you endured was not for nothing. What broke you did not break your destiny. And what felt like a permanent loss was in truth the spiritual pruning required for God to return what is meant for you in a purer, stronger, multiplied form. You may not see the signs yet, but your spirit has already been sensing that something is shifting. The heaviness that once sat on your chest is starting to release, even if slowly. The confusion that wrapped itself around your mind is beginning to untangle. The emotional storms that battered your heart are calming into clarity. These are not random changes. These are indicators that restoration has already begun. Heaven restores from the inside out. Before circumstances change, the heart strengthens. Before blessings return, the soul is renewed. Before the external breakthrough unfolds, the internal foundation is rebuilt with divine precision. Think of everything you survived, every heartbreak, every setback, every disappointment, every moment you were left standing alone, with nothing but your faith holding you together. Through all of it, you were being shaped, refined, and prepared for a season where God returns what was lost, not in its old form, but in a form aligned with your growth. You are not receiving the same relationships, the same opportunities, or the same paths you once had. You are receiving higher versions of them, purer connections, healthier environments, more aligned opportunities, doors that match your spiritual evolution rather than your past wounds. This is divine recompense, when heaven returns what was taken and multiplies it. When God restores, He doesn't simply give back, He elevates, He enhances, He transforms what was broken into something blessed. He replaces what hurt you with what heals you. He takes the ashes of old chapters and breathes life into new ones. Every tear you cried, every night you questioned your worth, every moment you felt overlooked or forgotten, none of it went unnoticed. The divine calculates every sacrifice and repays it in ways that rewrite your entire story. You may have felt abandoned, but you were being positioned. You may have felt stripped, but you were being prepared. You may have felt empty, but God was creating room for the blessings that require space to unfold. Restoration is not a distant promise. It is a present, active process happening through every shift in your spirit. Your resilience has become your foundation. Your clarity has become your compass. Your strength has become your testimony. And now heaven is aligning the external world with the internal transformation you've already completed. Relationships that match your healed heart are on their way. Opportunities that fit your purpose are drawing closer. Breakthroughs that once felt impossible are being arranged behind the scenes. You are stepping into a season where what you lost returns purified, elevated, and divinely aligned. Nothing is being restored the way it was before because you are not who you were before. Restoration is motion. Restoration is momentum. Restoration is heaven rewriting the parts of your story that once felt broken. You are entering a season where divine recompense becomes visible, where spiritual upgrades manifest in physical form, where the hand of God reveals why everything had to unfold the way it did. You are not being rewarded for simply surviving. You are being rewarded because you trusted the process even when you were trembling. You stayed aligned even when you felt lost. You remained faithful even when you could not see the plan. Chosen one, you are not waiting for restoration. You are walking in it. You are breathing in it. You are living inside the first stages of a blessing that is already unfolding. Heaven is returning everything with interest, multiplying what was taken, and elevating what is being given. Your restoration is not coming, it has already begun. New beginnings require new vibration. Chosen one, as you step closer to the horizon of your next chapter, there is an invisible shift taking place within you, a shift that few can see, but that your soul feels in every pulse and every breath. This is the rise of your vibration, the subtle yet undeniable energetic evolution that signals you are no longer the person who once walked through loss, heartbreak, or uncertainty. You are transforming at a frequency that matches the blessings, opportunities, and divine encounters reserved for the version of you that is stepping into alignment. God does not send new beginnings to those who cling to old selves. He sends them to those who have risen into their new vibration, who have shed the energies that no longer resonate, and who have prepared their hearts, minds, and spirits to receive the fullness of what is coming. Spiritual awakening is the spark that ignites this vibration. As you awaken, you begin to notice subtle shifts in how you think, feel, and move through life. You are no longer easily swayed by the opinions or fears of others. You are increasingly sensitive to the energies around you, aware of what nourishes your spirit and what drains it. Every experience of loss, every season of silence, every divine cleaning phase has been training your energy to match the higher frequency that your destiny demands. You are learning that your inner world dictates your outer world, and that the life you are about to receive is not a product of circumstance. It is a product of the vibration you are holding. Emotional evolution accompanies this spiritual rise. The old wounds that once defined you are softening. Patterns of doubt, fear, and resentment are being replaced with resilience, clarity, and discernment. You are learning to respond rather than react, to trust rather than control, to surrender rather than resist. Each emotional upgrade elevates your frequency. Each moment of forgiveness, each act of courage, each surrender to divine timing aligns your energy with the life you were always meant to live. Your heart, once heavy with attachments to what could not follow you, now beats in rhythm with what heaven is orchestrating, and every pulse draws you closer to your new beginnings. Identity elevation is the final, powerful stage of this energetic transformation. The chosen one cannot enter their next season wearing the same self they were before the losses, before the quiet, before the spiritual refinement. God is not aligning blessings with who you were, He is aligning them with who you are becoming. Your values, your intentions, your focus, and your faith have been recalibrated through every challenge you endured. You are becoming a person whose presence alone attracts the alignment, the opportunities, and the people designed to move with you into your divine purpose. Your old identity, the one rooted in survival, compromise, or fear, is dissolving so that your true self, your higher self, can emerge and resonate at the level your new life requires. This rise in vibration is not always obvious in the physical world. Others may see only the chaos or confusion, the endings, and the silence that once felt like abandonment. But in the unseen realm, every thought, every choice, every act of faith raises your frequency, strengthens your alignment, and signals to the universe that you are ready. You are no longer vibrating at the level of scarcity or limitation. You are vibrating at the level of abundance, clarity, and divine possibility. You are preparing to meet your new beginning, not as a continuation of what was, but as the next evolution of who you are meant to be. New beginnings cannot exist without this rise in vibration. Heaven cannot place the blessings of tomorrow into hands that are still holding the energies of yesterday. Doors will only open for the version of you who has grown, transformed, and evolved. Opportunities will only flow to the frequency you have cultivated. Relationships will only align with the energy you now radiate. Every part of your being, the spiritual, emotional, and identity layers, is ascending to a vibration capable of sustaining the divine life that is already being prepared for you. Chosen one, feel this shift within. Notice the subtle lightness, the quiet strength, the clarity emerging in your thoughts and spirit. Every loss you endured, every silence you weathered, every phase of divine pruning was recalibrating your frequency. You are no longer waiting for change. You are becoming the change. You are not merely stepping into a new chapter. You are ascending into a new vibration, one that resonates perfectly with the blessings, miracles, and divine encounters that heaven has reserved for you. Your new beginning is already vibrating toward you, and as your energy rises, You will find that what once seemed impossible now moves effortlessly into place, because God aligns blessings with who you are becoming, not who you used to be. Your breakthrough season is activated. Chosen one, the moment has arrived. The cycles that once held you back, the seasons of waiting, loss, and uncertainty, they have all closed. The path before you is no longer blocked by confusion, hesitation, or the weight of what could not follow you. You are entering a new era, a breakthrough season activated by heaven itself. This is not a distant promise or a hopeful wish. It is a spiritual reality unfolding now. Your faith, your perseverance, and your alignment have cleared the way for doors to open, opportunities to converge, and divine favor to accelerate in ways that surpass every expectation you have ever held. Breakthrough is never random. It is the culmination of spiritual preparation, emotional evolution, and energetic alignment. Every challenge you endured, every loss you survived, every silent season you weathered, it all contributed to this very moment. What once seemed like delay was divine timing at work, orchestrating your rise with precision and perfection. Heaven has been moving in the unseen, arranging every detail, and now the alignment is visible. The breakthrough season does not ask for perfection. It asks for readiness, courage, and spiritual alignment. And you, chosen one, are prepared. Doors are beginning to open that once seemed permanently closed. Opportunities are aligning in ways that confirm you are no longer in the same cycle. People who were meant to intersect with your destiny are appearing at exactly the right time. Situations that once seemed stagnant are now accelerating with a momentum that carries divine fingerprints. The universe is conspiring on your behalf because heaven has cleared the space for what you were meant to receive. The old patterns, the false limitations, and the energies that no longer served you have been removed. What remains is the sacred path carved by divine intention, ready for you to step fully into your breakthrough. This season requires courage. It is easy to hesitate, to second guess, to wonder if the blessings are real or if the timing is right. But the breakthrough season demands faith in motion. It requires stepping through doors that are opening with conviction, embracing opportunities that challenge your comfort, and trusting that divine favor is not only present but accelerating. Your courage will be the catalyst that turns alignment into manifestation. Heaven has provided the pathways. Your willingness to walk them transforms potential into reality. Spiritual alignment remains the key. Even as doors open and opportunities appear, your readiness to receive them with a heart free from fear, resentment, or doubt will determine the fullness of the breakthrough. The chosen one moves with clarity, discernment, and intentionality. Every choice, every step, every word you speak is a signal to the universe that you are aligned with the destiny prepared for you. Misalignment will slow the flow, alignment will amplify it. Stay centered, stay present, and remain connected to the divine guidance that has never left you. The breakthrough season is also prophetic. It will bring visible confirmations of what you have been believing and trusting for in the unseen. Relationships will strengthen in divine timing. Career and purpose opportunities will accelerate. Financial provision will expand in ways that testify to the faithfulness of God. Doors that were once sealed will swing open with ease, and favor will move ahead of you, preparing the way for miracles and divine encounters. Every step you take now resonates with heaven's plan. Every decision you make has spiritual significance, and every act of faith propels you further into your restored destiny. Chosen one, you are no longer in preparation, you are in activation. The breakthrough season is not something you wait for, it is something you step into. The old cycle is closed, The pruning is complete, and the sacred pause has prepared you to move forward with clarity, strength, and alignment. The path is open, and the energies around you are ready to support your rise. Stand boldly, walk confidently, receive with expectation. Heaven has cleared the way, removed every obstacle that would have held you back, and now the momentum is yours. Doors are opening, opportunities are converging, and divine favor is accelerating. Your breakthrough season is not just approaching, it has begun. Step into it fully, chosen one, and embrace the fullness of what heaven has already orchestrated for your life. Stepping into what sits coming next. Chosen one, the next chapter of your life is waiting, and it is more magnificent than anything you have imagined. The losses, the silences, the pruning, and the seasons of waiting, they were all preparing you to step fully into this moment. What lies ahead is not simply a continuation of what you had before. It is an elevation, a divine upgrade, and a reality that matches the version of you who has been refined, strengthened, and aligned. To move into this new chapter with clarity and confidence, you must adopt a spiritual mindset that honors both the journey behind you and the destiny before you. First, let go. Let go of the fear, the doubts, and the attachments to what no longer serves your divine purpose. Holding on to the past, even the losses you still grieve, will dim the brilliance of what is coming. God has cleared the space around you for a reason. Every relationship that ended, every opportunity that closed, every door that was sealed was a sacred removal designed to make room for your next season. Let go of the temptation to revisit what was, and instead step forward into what is being prepared. Release the need for control, and trust that heaven is orchestrating every detail with precision far beyond your understanding. Second, trust the divine plan. Faith is the bridge between what you see and what you cannot yet see. It is the inner knowing that even when life feels uncertain, even when the path is not visible, God's hand is actively arranging circumstances, people, and opportunities in your favor. Trust does not mean passivity. It means walking forward with confidence, knowing that the divine is guiding your steps. Every delay you experienced, every season of silence, every challenge was a calculated moment of alignment. Now, as you step into what's coming next, trust that nothing has been wasted and everything has been working toward your elevation. Third, embrace your call. Your life has been divinely scripted, and your purpose is waiting for you to claim it fully. You are the chosen one, and every experience, trial, and lesson has been designed to awaken your unique gifts and prepare you to fulfill your calling. Do not shrink back in fear of inadequacy or uncertainty. Do not allow the opinions of others or the shadows of the past to dim your light. Step boldly into the assignments, opportunities, and responsibilities that align with your higher purpose. Embracing your call means living intentionally, speaking with clarity, and acting with courage. It means choosing the path that resonates with your spirit, even if it challenges old patterns or expectations. Fourth, recognize your new identity. You are not the person who first endured loss, who waited through silence, or who struggled with doubt. You are stronger, wiser, and spiritually elevated. Your vibration has shifted, your heart has been refined, and your alignment with the divine is deeper than ever. Your new identity is one of clarity, confidence, and readiness to receive what heaven has prepared. Step into this identity fully. Speak as the person you are becoming. Walk as the person your destiny requires. Believe as the person who has been chosen for restoration, breakthrough, and divine favor. As you move forward, remember that what lies ahead is far greater than what was lost. The doors opening before you are wider, the opportunities richer, and the blessings more abundant than the chapters that ended. Heaven is not restoring what was, it is returning something higher, purer, and more aligned with the true you. The spaces created by loss have been filled with divine potential. The gaps left by endings have been replaced with alignment. And every step you take now will bring you closer to the life that was always intended for you. Chosen one, step confidently. Step with faith. Step into the new version of yourself, the elevated path, and the abundant future that heaven has been preparing while you were still trusting the process. Release the past. Trust the plan. Embrace the call. Recognize your identity. And know, with unwavering certainty, that what's coming next is greater than anything you have ever lost. The next chapter is ready, and it is waiting for you to walk into it fully, boldly, and aligned with your divine calling. Closing activation. Claim the message. Chosen one, hear this final declaration with your spirit wide open. Everything you endured, every loss you experienced, every door that closed, and every season of silence was not random, and it was not in vain. It was all preparation for overflow, for expansion, and for a life that exceeds everything you ever imagined. What you thought was taken from you was actually being positioned for divine increase. What you felt was lost was being transformed into alignment, restoration, and breakthrough. Heaven has been orchestrating every detail of your life, and now the cycle has shifted. The weight you carried, the struggles you faced, and the tears you shed are the very things that paved the way for the abundance, favor, and spiritual elevation that is about to be released into your life. This is your prophetic moment. Stand in the truth that your losses were sacred removals, and every absence was a space created for divine blessings to enter. The people who left, the opportunities that vanished, the doors that closed, they were never rejections. They were divine recalibrations, clearing the path so that what comes next can flow without obstruction. What you have been waiting for, praying for, and believing in is ready to meet you. The unseen realm has been working tirelessly on your behalf, moving forces, opening doors, aligning circumstances, and orchestrating encounters that are perfectly timed to fulfill your divine calling. Your breakthrough is no longer a distant promise. It is happening now. The season of waiting has ended. The season of preparation has concluded. The cycle of pruning, silence, and refinement has reached its climax. You are entering the overflow phase, where restoration, favor, and divine recompense are not just concepts, they are your reality. Every lesson you learned, every trial you endured, and every spiritual upgrade you received has positioned you to receive blessings that cannot coexist with the old version of you. Heaven is releasing into your life what matches your elevated vibration, your refined identity, and your awakened spirit. This is a time to claim your destiny with boldness. Speak with authority over your life. Declare that you are aligned with the flow of divine favor. Stand in faith that what you have lost is returning, multiplied, refined, and aligned with your highest good. Every barrier that once seemed permanent has been removed. Every limitation that seemed insurmountable has been dismantled. Every delay that caused fear or doubt was, in reality, a sacred pause, a divine timing mechanism, and a preparation for the magnitude of what is coming. Now is the moment to acknowledge the truth within your spirit. Feel the certainty that what is ahead is far greater than what has passed. Recognize that God never takes without giving back more, never closes a door without opening one that leads to higher ground, and never allows absence without creating room for overflow. You are stepping into a season where restoration, breakthrough, and divine alignment intersect in ways that will confirm every promise that was ever spoken over your life. Your faith, your patience, and your spiritual endurance have been rewarded even before the blessings become visible. Chosen one, if this message resonates deep within your soul, if it sparks the flame of alignment and confirmation in your spirit, declare it boldly. Comment 777 and proclaim that you are receiving this God's message as a prophetic activation. Let this simple declaration be your acknowledgement that you are aligned, ready, and prepared to walk fully into the life heaven has been designing for you. Your declaration opens the way for your spirit to fully embrace the breakthrough, restoration, and new beginnings that are already in motion. Do not doubt the timing, the process, or the plan. Trust that every loss, every ending, and every moment of silence was intentional, purposeful, and sacred. The divine removed what could not go with you into your next season so that nothing would block your path. Your losses were never punishments, they were placements. Your hardships were never obstacles, they were accelerators. Your pauses were never neglect, they were preparation. And now the fullness of God's release, favor, and blessing is ready to flow into your life, perfectly timed, divinely orchestrated, and aligned with your highest destiny. Claim it, chosen one. Claim your restoration, claim your breakthrough, claim your divine favor. Stand in certainty that everything you lost was making room for everything that is about to be released. Step boldly into the fullness of your next chapter, knowing that heaven has cleared the way and the overflow of God's blessings is already moving toward you. Your season of elevation, alignment, and abundance has arrived, and nothing can stop what God has prepared.